Good morning to all of you. I'm so happy to welcome you all once again for our training. And today we are going to see, as Father Justice has introduced, two ministries which is closely connected to sustainable development goal, and it is very much connected to our life, day-to-day life, nature and life. And before getting into these two ministries, I want to repeat the concept of neighborocracy. Why we need neighborocracy and what is that and all, briefly. For the sake of the newcomers, there may be some new people who are attending for the first time here, for their sake. There are two things which are needed very importantly in a transformed way in the world today. One is holistic development of the human being, and second one is a transformed system of governance. Because these both things are very, very important for a happy, joyful, peaceful life of every individual in the world. And these are the two things which we miss very much today. And I will deal with the system of governance, which is very pathetic today, and all of us, we know how pathetic the situation today is in the name of democracy. In the name of democracy, ordinary people do not have any say in day-to-day governance. Though we claim that it is by the people, for the people, of the people, people don't have any role at all except voting once in 4 years or once in 5 years. Even if the people vote, and you know how it is manipulated, strangulated, and all sort of things are happening, that the vote of the people do not matter at all. And we are seeing it, what is happening on in US. And even here in India, the votes of individuals are stolen, hijacked, or bought by the moneyed people. So really the democracy is not working. And after the voting, the people do not have any say at all in the governance. They don't have any say. So we needed a system where the seat of power, which we call parliament, not only it should be in a place where people do not have an access, but it has to be in every neighborhood where people live. So that the people, those who are living in the neighborhood, take charge of the day-to-day governance, decide things for themselves, and they plan for themselves, prepare an action plans for themselves. They implement and they monitor and evaluate everything they people themselves to do. And the bureaucracy will be there only to support this system. And this system of governance we call neighborocracy. A governance system starting from the neighborhood, and they are networked at various levels to reach up the country level and the regional level and the international level, global level. So that the voice of the neighborhood, the voice of the ordinary person in a neighborhood will reach to the global level. And in this system of governance, we have 3 units in every neighborhood based on the age group of the people, those who live. That is, we have the children parliament for the children from the age of 6 to 15. Then we have the youth parliament for the youth, those who are between 16 to 25. Then we have people's parliament for the age above 26. So these 3 units are there in every neighborhood, have to be there. Why? Because everyone, even a child, has a right to have its own opinion and share its own opinion, and the right to be part of the governance. Even a child has the right to be part of the governance. Now, I used to say in my seminars, neighborocracy is the only system where even a 6-year-old child is actively participating in day-to-day governance system. And this is perhaps the first system of governance in the world history where even a child of 6 years old is part of it. So that's how the children parliament comes. The second part is about building, building values in people so that people get, holistically educated and holistically developed. And we know that we give more focus to education of numbers and letters. And I used to say, and people may not sometimes agree with me, but the truth is that the more a person is educated, the more corrupt he becomes. And that's what our existing education system does. So having an academic education alone is not enough. That is only, gathering of information. And write exam with the information what you gather, then you get marks and go to higher classes, then you become a doctor and you become an engineer and you become a lawyer or you become a judge, whatever it is. That is only for the profession what the people need, for earning something, their livelihood. But more than that, there is a lot where a person has to develop. There are so many questions. IQ alone is not needed. I used to repeat this. IQ alone does not decide the fate of a person. It does not decide the destiny of a person. That's only an information which is gathered, which gives you certain pedestal for your livelihood. But there are other questions, so many other questions, which we do not have in our education system. And to develop this questions in every child, the children parliament plays a very important role, through which we train all these values, other questions, so that a holistic development takes place in humans. So when these children learn all these questions and when they become adults and they are going to design the whole world, so that they will be properly placed mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, of course, also to decide the correct things in the right time. So that's why we have this children's parliament. And in every parliament, whether children parliament or youth parliament or the people's parliament, everyone has to be actively participating, holding himself responsible for something or other. It is not that a group of people come together and some people who have got a better voice or a louder voice, rule the whole thing. No, it is not like this. The whole system of neighborocracy is based on certain principles, and in that the sociocratic principle also have a very important role, and they are all accommodated in this. And the way to have a discussion and the way to have a decision making process and the way to elect the ministers and all, and everyone has a voice, everyone has an opinion, and everyone has a right to raise their opinion and share their opinion for the benefit of others. And that's how it happens. And now these members holding themselves responsible means that everyone has to be a minister for some concern or other. So every member has to be a minister. Even in children parliament, every child has to be a minister. There will be a prime minister, there will be a parliamentary affairs minister, there will be a finance minister, there will be a health minister, there will be education minister, there will be environment minister, there will be minister for child welfare, women, gender equality and youth development and elders care, minister for employment, minister for so many things. And today we are going to see the ministers for clean water and sanitation and life below water. And these are very much connected with each other. And we know that how, to what extent today the nature is being completely destroyed. They say 60% of the nature is already destroyed. To bring back this nature, it will take another few hundred years, perhaps. We don't know. And everyone is talking about the environment and the climate emergency and that and this climate, change and all that. Lots of efforts are going on. But in my humble opinion, I feel that every individual, however small he is, also has to play an important role in day-to-day life to ensure that the environment is protected. And these both are very much connected with the environment protection. And today, the soil is polluted, air is polluted, and the water is polluted. Everything is polluted. And what are we going to do about it? Now the role of this minister comes in the neighborhood or in the children parliament, wherever it is. They start working in their own neighborhood, making everyone responsible in their own neighborhood, creating awareness in their own neighborhood to play the right role to protect this. And today we are going to see protecting water. Now we know that 2/3 of the earth is covered by water. We all of us are aware of that. But to what extent we have the potable water? I know I have been visiting so many places in North India. Yeah, even in some of the southern Indian places, villages in the rural area, people travel 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers to fetch water, drinking water, which means water is not available for them. They don't have water. For the potable water, they have to go so many kilometers. Children, with all these pots carrying water. Why? Was this the situation about 100 years back or 200 years back? No, everywhere we had plenty of water. Plenty of rain. For example, now in Tamil Nadu, for past few days, we've been having so much of rain. All this rain is enough for the whole population of Tamil Nadu for another 1 year. More than 1 year, if they hold it properly. But what happens? The land has become jungles, concrete jungles, so that the water does not get into the earth, into the soil, but just rolls out and gets into the sea. All this water is wasted. Past a few days, Tamil Nadu government has been opening all the dams because everything is getting full. And if you go to the southern Tamil Nadu, you have no water for agriculture, but there is plenty of rain there. If that rain is held properly, harvested properly, that water is enough for 2 years irrigation. So, people have to take charge of it. And not only saving, harvesting water, not wasting the water, and keeping the water clean, pollution free. Now, what this minister is going to do? All the roles are, up and down, just mixed here and there. But the children parliament, ministers for clean water and sanitation, they take steps to avoid all kind of wastage of water in our neighborhood. I remember once in Chengalpet, in a village, rural area, there were, piped water lines. And in those villages, in those areas, we had started children parliament in 2000, about 20 years back. And the tap, there will be 1 or 2 taps for the whole village, carrying water from some other place. And the taps, most of the time it will be loose and all the water will be leaking. The whole water will go waste. People hold the water, but they cannot lock it properly. Children Parliament, they take the steps to arrest the leakage. And they create the awareness to the whole village that they should not waste water like this. We have to save water. There should not be leakage. Now the Parliament takes charge of replacing the taps, and they have done it. They have done it. Children Parliament themselves, with the help of the adults and the coordinators, bought a new taps, brought a plumber, and repaired it. It is a question of 200 rupees, which they could easily collect. That's why they have the finance minister to create their own fund. But a big service was done, and through this, the whole village learned how to be responsible to save water. Before the Parliament started, it used to go, the flow, water used to flow. It used to flow in the streets. The whole street used to be flooded with this wastewater. And people don't know what to do. And they have to call the government officials or, the Panchayat president, and Panchayat president is free with so many things. He is not free. He is busy with so many things. And if they are pressurized, they will say, we don't have fund for this, and all these type of things. And Children Parliament did that successfully. It was a wonderful success story. And not only they become responsible to save water and arrest the leakage of the water, but create awareness to others also to arrest the leakage of the water. Then we have they have a cultural program. Children's Parliament conduct cultural programs on various themes and topics. And they create awareness through cultural programs how to be responsible to save the water. And people become, so far those have been numb, so far they have been irresponsible, careless. The adults I am talking about, they become sensitized by the Children Parliament, how they have to be proactive in saving water. Then we have also, the Children Parliament also learn from other sources, from other places, various methods of saving water, how water can be saved. And this is, taught to the adults through awareness programs. And the Children's Parliament do that very successfully. In many places it has been done, in many places. And the water and sanitation ministers, actually now we call it water and sanitation minister according to the goal of SDG, but earlier it was water minister. And they used to take care of this. Then they also collect the success stories, how water is saved from various other places, and they share among themselves in the members in the meetings, and they create awareness to the adults also in the villages. Success stories where other people had taken the method the other people had applied to save water. And this is very much very much done in many of the children parliaments. Almost in 80% of the children's parliament, they do this work of planting trees. Why they plant trees? Planting trees, what connection it has got with the water? By planting trees, it becomes a source for rain. It invites rain. Then it brings the ground level, water level up. Very important. The children learn this. Children parliament members, ministers, they learn. And they teach this to the parents. Parents are, of course, well aware of all these things, but they become, not at all bothered about all these things because everyone is busy with their own work. But the children parliament ministers take this step of creating this awareness. Then, very important, another work of the children ministers for water is to use a very indigenous cleaning method to clean the water. Because I don't know how many of you are aware, I am coming from a very interior remote village. I was born in that. And in our village, there was no any source of water except a pond. And the water will be, especially in the rainy season, it used to be, muddy. Very with color, with a lot of sediments and all that. So we used to apply a particular nut from a tree to press it, in that pot where the water is kept. They keep on pressing it, then all the sediments, goes down and it cleans water. The healthiest way of cleaning the water. The healthiest way of cleaning the water. Because any other chemical process of cleaning the water is going to bring negative effects to the body. And by applying this particular seed, I don't know the seed, the name in English, but that not only cleans the water, some substance from that nut is good for the health also, good for the body also. In Tamil, we call it Tetangottai. Tetangottai means a small seed, like a tamarind seed, but it used to be white. They apply it. They keep on pressing it on the walls of the inner walls of the pot where the water is kept. And after few pressings, after you just rub it over, after few minutes, the whole water, will change color and all the sediments will come down. Then they filter it and use it. Natural way of cleaning the water. And it was a normal process. But nowadays we have, different way of cleaning our water. Filters we have. All these filters not only is chemically induced, but also see the water which we take in our body, it has got its own life. Water has its own life. And when you filter it through all these modern methods, that life of the water is lost. You have water, but the life of the water is lost. With all that, we call it, bottled water nowadays, mineral water, that water, this water. It's all humbug. Completely lifeless water is bottled there. So this awareness is given to our children in the children parliaments. And they learn all these methods, then they promote this to the villages. So water filter industry is a very big industry nowadays. But we drink lifeless water through this method of filters. They call it RO system, that system, there is various system of filtering it. That is only lifeless water. And when you have lifeless water, the thirst will go, but a complication in the body will start. It will not, the water what you take will not help to heal the body, to strengthen the body. So this type of awareness is given to our children parliament ministers, and they learn all these methods, and in turn they create awareness to the community on this. Similarly, the children parliament ministers also see to that any polluting factor in their surroundings, the polluting factors which pollute the water resources like pond or a flowing river or a small lake or whatever it is, They create awareness to the adults in the villages and creates awareness to themselves to arrest all these polluting factor of the natural water resources in their vicinity, in their neighborhood, or in their village, whatever it is, so that the water is pollution free. Now we know soil is polluted, air is polluted, and water is polluted. And they take care so that no pollution takes place. And even farming method, they create an awareness about the farming method, because farming with all these chemicalized fertilizers spoils the earth, pollutes the earth, and the water which flows over through that earth, of course, is a polluted water. Definitely it is a polluted water. So they promote a different system of farming. Nowadays we say organic farming, but I was reading an article a few months back. Even this so-called organic farming is another threat. They say it is again a conspiracy by the corporates. And when I learned all this, they are selling some type of worms. They call it vermicompose or vermiform, I mean worms and all, to be used. And those worms, they excrete only lead. Lead is that metal, a component, which spoils again the earth. So this content, when the lead content is in the body, then your body gets sick. Then they sell the medicines for it, and they sell the medicine for the soil also. That's what I read, but I have not confirmed with really knowledgeable people about all that. So when we talk about organic farming, we have to be very careful. The children are trained on that. Then what is a farming has to be there? Natural farming has to be there. Natural farming without anything. The earthworm which comes automatically is the most healthiest way to bring oxygen and other minerals to the soil. Not that vermi thing what they give, which is produced in the factory and they give. So natural farming and zero budget farming. Nowadays there are lots of methods of that. Our own president, NCN president, is promoting the zero budget natural farming, and he is an expert now in that. He conducts lots of seminars on that. And sometimes I heard that in Andhra Pradesh, when he meets children parliaments, he gives this type of training also about natural farming, natural zero budget farming. And it is called one straw farming also. One straw farming. This method is created by agricultural scientists in Japan and is promoted now all over the world. Natural farming without any external these things. The crop may be less, the output of the crop may be less, but doesn't matter, we will have a healthy food. So this is very much connected. The farming activities is very much connected with pollution of the earth and soil and pollution of the water. So our children parliaments start creating awareness to their own parents and their own neighbors about all these things. Then we talk about sanitation. When we talk about sanitation, a lot of lack of proper sanitary facilities in the rural areas. There are no proper toilets with running water, proper drainage system, where a lot of problem comes up. And I remember, I don't know whether I have said this in this platform here. In one village in Madhya Pradesh, they stopped all this water flowing on the street by creating soak pits. They recommended to the whole village, created an awareness that every village has to have their own soak pit where their wastewater will get in and the groundwater will come up. It will improve. And wastewater will be properly directed into the earth. That type of system. Then also, the sanitation, it's not only the wastewater which goes into the, we leave it into the earth via soak pit, but to reprocess the used water, which can be reused for the plants and for any other purposes, external purposes. So this type of awareness is created by our children parliaments, and in many places they have done a wonderful implementation of these programs and created a wonderful awareness to the people. And they take care of the local water bodies. Definitely, that's a very important aspect. And the children protecting their water bodies. So these are the works done by the Minister for Clean Water and Sanitation. Now we have another minister, Minister for Life Below Water. Life below water, we don't much seem to be aware of the life below water and how imbalance is created because a lot of injustice is done to the life below water. When we talk about life below water, we think about only about fish. It is not like that. There are so many hundreds of living, thousands and thousands of living things, lives underwater. Fish is one part. There's so many other things like corals. There are various types of corals. We have heard about the oxygen is produced by the trees. That's very true. But compared to the oxygen produced by the ocean corals, it is very less. Scientists have said 3/4 of the oxygen, the whole earth, is produced by the corals underwater under the ocean. So it is a very important lives. And many of us are not aware of all these things. So this minister, life below water, learns things from that, about that, and disseminates information to others and create awareness for the whole community. It's a very important thing. So when we talk about fishing, there are certain type of fish we don't eat, but we catch. They're semi-poisonous or poisonous, or people are not used to eat that type of fish, and also so many things are there. But they are caught. But they are useful for some other purpose in the water, in the sea. They may not be useful for eating, but they are useful for some other purposes, for some other work in the underwater in the sea. So when the fishermen catch that, they bring it and they just throw it, which means again a waste. And nowadays, there is a lot of information in the net. If you go and learn about how a very great level of injustice is done to the life below water. And children learn all these things and they create awareness. And again, It's a repetition of what we saw in the earlier minister. Fertilizer, chemicals, usage of fertilizer and chemicals, which waste is let out in the rivers, let out in the oceans, completely destroys the life below water. There are so many rivers in Tamil Nadu itself, which has been polluted very highly, and some rivers have just disappeared also. There was a very big campaign some time back. One river in western Tamil Nadu part, a river called Noidal. That river is full of chemical because of this leather industries and other industries which left out all the chemicals into that river. That complete river is completely gone now. And where does these chemicals go? It goes to the sea, and it gets mixed up with the lakes, and it gets mixed up with the, other distributaries of the water sources, and it pollutes everything. And so it's very, very important that these ministers take care of these issues and create awareness to the community. And they also, Children's Parliament, as I had mentioned last time, they create awareness about banning plastic use. And using plastic, it's not only has spoiled our earth, not only it has polluted our earth, it has polluted very much the ocean. Many scientific studies are now being taken up where fishes are found with plastics. A lot of fish varieties have been destroyed because of the plastics. So, Children Parliament Minister for this life below water, take charge of this and try to ban the use of plastics. And infuse lives into the water bodies. Because of this chemical process, the life below water is completely imbalanced. So the Children Parliament has to take, and they take in some cases, especially in the coastal villages, to infuse life into this. And they also understand the causes for depletion of the fish varieties and how to improve the life below water. And we know that, in the coastal villages, the coastal areas, here at least I know in Karnataka, in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, certain seasons, certain months in a year is completely, left free. And those months, complete fishing is banned. So that the life below water can, increase. So this is, children are created awareness on that, and they sensitize the community about this. Then when we talk about fishing, there are illegal fishing methods, overfishing, and destructive fishing practices. Illegal fishing is, see, from the shore to up to this level, only a particular type of nets has to be used. Because otherwise, the whole lot of the fish will be destroyed. So that in that particular season, that type of nets are not permitted, even by the government. And even these unions for fishermen, they have their own unions. They also advocate that a particular type of nets and particular type of fishing method should not be used, so that the fish varieties will not be destroyed completely. So this type of awareness is also created to children through these ministries, and these ministers in turn create awareness to the communities. Then overfishing. Nowadays, you know, that overfishing, they have got that electronic method of fishing. You know, very, you know, the whole lot is just, you know, taken out, fished. And after all, after they bring to the shore, they are just dried for as feed for the poultry farm. See how big crime it is. And destroying the flora and fauna of the ocean and bringing to the land just for something else, which is not at all needed. Poultry can have some other feed, some other sources of feeding, because it is overfishing, because there is no consumption for that. This all is taken to the poultry farm. So children are created awareness on that to save life underwater. An ethical fishing method has to be taught, and children parliaments are taught on these ethical fishing methods, practices, and they create awareness to the community on this. They also prepare small banners, you know, to disseminate informations, dossiers related to life underwater. And even in some cases, children parliament create exhibition about life underwater. In the schools they create, and in the neighborhood they create a small type of exhibition arranged by the children parliament themselves, organized by and led by the Minister for Life Underwater, which can create a lot of awareness to people. And they also initiate the World Day related to marine life, to celebrate the World Marine Day, Marine Life Day, so that the whole community becomes aware of that marine life. Then also they create awareness about various fish varieties and their contribution to the ocean and the climate. Various fish varieties, every fish variety, fish is not only meant for eating, consuming, but every fish has got its own purpose of creating, its own work, contributing towards the environmental cause in the ocean or in the for the land. The thing is like that, you know, certain fish, because the fish community, the coral reef grow better. There are certain fish varieties which helps the coral to grow. And the corals are very, very important to produce oxygen for the real, you know, the existence of earth itself. So this type of awareness, a knowledge, gathering and information is done by this minister, and that information is shared with others. Also, this minister takes care of artificial farming. I mean, when I say takes care, he creates awareness of the dangers of nature. I mean, artificial farming. In the farming method, there's a natural way of, you know, the marine life underwater and all that. But in the land, there are two methods of farming: using the natural method and using the artificial method. Now, you know, 10, 15 years back or 20 years back, the prawn culture farms were introduced in the coastal area of the country, and it had completely destroyed the land and the natural water sources. Now these all have vanished except in one or two places. And the only contribution they did was to spoil the earth, the soil, and the natural water resources, water bodies. Completely destroyed. So this type of awareness again, in the artificial method of farming, And those fish also which is produced by this artificial method, not good for health also, because it has got its own impact, chemical impact to the consumers. So they really wonderfully work on this, creating awareness on this life below water. And the children parliament also takes care of cleaning these water bodies, cleaning the water bodies, so that the life below water is safe, is safe. So we have a lot of success stories about that, and especially the success stories of taking care of the lake and ponds and water bodies and stopping the pollution, water pollution, so that life below water is safe and all that. So these are the both the ministries which they take, and there are some other works what they do also, which if we keep on talking, it will take more time. So I can share hundreds of stories, success stories on that, and especially in the coastal areas and in the inland areas where the larger water bodies are there, like very big lakes and things like that, especially in the northeastern states. Wherever you go, you have a larger this river, flowing rivers and that and this, where the children parliament does a lot of work on this, create awareness and actively participate in saving the water and the life below water. So if you have any